So welcome to Lockdown Diaries, week 10, 70 days. I don't think any of us, when all this started, could imagine that we'd still be in these sorts of circumstances 70 days on, but here we are. And I don't know if you saw this week in the Commentary Telegraph on Commentary Live, they had a little piece on the 15 things to miss when lockdown ends. And some of the things I thought were really quite sad. It was things like, you'll miss being able to watch as much TV as you want to watch whenever you want to watch it. I'm not sure whose life actually works like that. But there were some good things in there. Because one of the things I think that they were trying to say to us is work out what's good about now and hold on to it afterwards. Because we are coming through this period. We are going to go into a new period quite soon. And there were some really good things there. So, if you feel closer to your neighbours than you ever have, hold on to it. If you've got a sense of community spirit that perhaps wasn't as strong before, hold on to it. If you've got a way of connecting with family and friends that you didn't have before, or you didn't have as strongly before, hold on to it. A slightly strange piece, but I think with some great advice there. Now, I'm wearing different outfit today, and that's because I've just been doing some videos for our offer holders, to tell our offer holders where we are, what we're trying to do, how we're going to be communicating with them in the future, thinking about those students who are going to be joining us this autumn, as well as, of course, our students that will be coming back. So I'm sort of wearing a suit, but only sort of wearing a suit, because although this is all very smart up here, I am, of course, wearing shorts. I wanted to start this week by just sharing something with you from one of our students, and forgive me for looking like this, because I've got it on my phone here, and I just wanted to read it to you. One of our students, Georgia, and she posted this just a couple of days ago, thanks to Paul, who shared this. So Georgia says, 3 years ago today, I went to my part-time job as a first aider at the Manchester Arena. I expected a normal shift, but instead, I became involved in a terror attack. In addition to having to work as a first responder that night, I was due to sit my A-levels only a few days later. I attempted to complete my exams, but did not manage to sit them all, resulting in a significant underperformance compared to what I'd hoped, and I was terrified that my plans for the future were ruined. But now I've just finished my dissertation to round off my 3-year degree in Global Sustainable Development at the University of Warwick. Just like in year 13, I did not finish my university career the way I'd planned on, but I'm so grateful for everything that the university has given me, and despite the horrors of that night, I'm quite proud of myself for my achievements. And I think we can all say, we're really proud of you, Georgia, but also of our colleagues in liberal arts and global sustainable development who've been working with you and working with so many other people over the course of the last few years, but also over the course of the last several weeks. Last week, I don't do this scripted, I've got a few notes here because I want to make sure that I refer to people and what they've done, but I don't do this scripted. So sometimes things come out a bit in a challenging way, shall we say. So last week, a number of you heard me say something like, please say this is worth doing. Please say this is good. And a number of you have written in to say, yes, keep going. It's very good. All I was trying to say is it's really wonderful to hear you and what you think and where you're going with this. And this week, it was really great to hear from Deborah and Nick and Fiona and Leslie about how they're using these sorts of communications to really kind of connect with people and to keep us as a community very much connected. But I think a lot of people have taken time because it's half-term week and you've had it booked in your diaries. And one of the things that's come through a little bit is the lack of commuting. Now, a number live right round the university, but a number of you live quite a long way away and do an hour or so commute every day. And Poonam, Andy, a few others have been writing in saying it's quite strange not having that commute. Because on the one hand, you save a lot of time in your day. But on the other hand, clearly, quite a lot of people who do commuting use that commuting time to get your head into a particular place or to try to work out a particular problem. And it's just another example, I think, of the different ways that we're trying to think about working and getting through this period. There are an increasing number of online materials that colleagues are putting together to help with schooling and teaching and to keep people interested. I think it was last week I was talking about the Faculty of Arts at Home series on YouTube. This week, Paul had sent me the details of the Warwick Classics Network. Many of you will know about this. It's a fantastic outreach activity, really connecting, and they've got a number of materials going up quite soon And Paul tells me there's a project underway to help us all understand a lot more about Roman Coventry, about which I must confess I know very, very little. But I do know that there were some Roman artifacts discovered across the campus. So we must in some way have been part of that Roman Coventry. In maths, Jen tells me that there's a series just starting of videos again to explain different mathematical issues for us all, but also for school kids as well. The first episode coming soon is the mathematics of matchmaking, which sounds quite fascinating. And Celia sent me a wonderful piece that she's done for schools about randomized trials, but delivered through the medium of poetry. Quite an extraordinary thing. And also, I've had some great videos. Gareth sent me some videos that colleagues, Wendy, other colleagues are putting together in the student accommodation, student services, cleaning staff side, just showing us what campus looks like. We need to get some of those out so you can see it. I've been at the university now for 13 years, and obviously I've never been away from campus for so long. And it's just fascinating to see these pictures, to see how things have changed. And I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when people were sending in some pictures, some of our key workers. And in some areas, nature really is taking over again. It's quite fascinating to see. A number of you have been telling me about all the community work that's going on from VE Day onwards. And I just wanted to pick on one example this week, because I can give perhaps just a little bit more detail. Richard wrote to say that in his street, and there are a couple of other colleagues from the university in his street, they've set up a WhatsApp group, and it covers 45 homes in the street. And through that, they did organise shared shopping. They organised the visit from the coffee van with what appears to be very long socially distanced queues of people waiting to get hold of their coffee and talking. Food Bank Friday. Food Bank Friday, I think I might have given it the name of Food Bank Friday, but on a Friday, people donate food for the food bank, and it's a fantastic thing to do. And they're collaborating also to make the place look better and more kind of integrated. And I think, if I understand correctly, the next part of the project is to work on the lampposts and to get some flowers around the lampposts and to give that sense of nature and beauty across the whole of the street. And they have one of the most wonderful things of all. One of the most wonderful things of all is, of course, a secret chocolate fairy. And they have a secret chocolate fairy who delivers either randomly or in a carefully planned way secret chocolates to various houses before 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's great stuff. It's a great example of that community spirit, and a great example of one of those things that in that Cov Telegraph piece, those are the sorts of things, if we can hold on to them as things do start to ease up, it would be a wonderful and great thing. In a slightly similar but different vein, I've had a great email this week with loads of pictures from Chiara. Chiara works in Venice for us. She runs our Warwick in Venice operation there and helps students find accommodation and all sorts of things. And she's Venetian. She has been living there through this really terrible period of time that has been going on through northern Italy. And it's been absolutely wonderful to see some of those pictures of Venice, that magnificent city, if you know it, coming back to life. And one of the things she's saying is that it's possible to Venetian-style rowing through the Grand Canal, because the motorboats, the big cruise ships, and so on, they're not going at this moment in time. But the image that struck me the most is the one where Chiara has a picture of how she and others have been supporting people who've had to self-isolate, because in Venice you've got really tall and narrow buildings, so you can't easily go up and down stairs to deliver things. So what they do, the person self-isolating at the top, throw out some string, or rope I suppose it probably is, goes down to the ground. Chiara and others tie the basket on, they pull it back up, and that's how they help support people in the architecture of Venice. So that's a fantastic and wonderful thing to see. Thank you for sending me all sorts of fun stuff. Jill sent me a great video of walking with her 4 Cocker Spaniels. There are, I think, 4 dogs there, but they're all over each other. It's just like a mass of dogs all having great fun going for their walk. Livia sent me some videos of dancing, she and her partner dancing. So it's a great example of how people are really trying to keep their hobbies and interests going. But it's just a reminder of what a struggle it is for so many community groups, so many charities, so many small companies that organise and do the things we want to do, whether it be yoga teachers, whether it be dancing classes, what a struggle it has been for people to keep these things going. And it's great to see when people like Livia and others do it themselves, get that message out there that we're just going to keep going, and some of this stuff will all come back in the not too distant future. Now, Anna in the WMG SME group sent a great picture of a curry night. I can't remember if it's curry by Zoom or curry by Teams, but it's curry by our new medium anyway, where everyone's having a good time talking. And she also, and I don't really understand this, but she also tells me that they play a game, a rock, paper, scissors game, a wrestling game with sort of wrestlers dressed up to play rock, paper, scissors. Don't quite understand it. If anybody can explain it to me, I'd be ever so grateful to hear about it. Finally, thank you for everybody who's been sending in stuff about our online time capsule project. Thank you to Steve, who's volunteered to help on the technical side and clearly has enormous experience of putting together websites and things of that sort. And also to Helen from the Modern Records Centre. And the Modern Records Centre, I think this is fantastic news. They've said what they'd really like to do is not only help us technically put this together, but also hold on to this so that we keep this. There will be a permanent record, permanently curated, looking forward into the future to capture our life as a community at this particular point in time. Please keep sending me in some materials, because what I really want to do is try to gather some stuff so we can kind of look at the themes and then get the group of people who volunteered to help me technically get this together to look at what it is. I can report back to you what we've got a lot of, what we haven't got quite so much of. Try and encourage you to send us a few more materials as well, and then we can start the process of actually putting it together and to building it. The online project was inspired by a few people, but Marcia, you were one of them, as you know, and you told me that when I said that last week, your daughter jumped for joy as she heard your name mentioned, but she didn't hear her name mentioned. So Marcia, for your daughter Lily, this is a shout out for you. This is for you, Lily. Thanks all very much. Have a great week. The sun's been shining, which is wonderful. Summer seems to have come early. I'm now deeply regretting having this jacket on. This room is absolutely boiling. But we'll have another of our lockdown diaries next week. So please, please, please keep sending me stuff and do stay connected. Thanks very much.